You're undervaluing yourself. What if I told you the odds of you existing are so small that statistically you should not even be here at all? It's not rare, it's not unlikely, it is mathematically almost impossible, and yet, here you are. Imagine loading into a game where the character you got was a 1 in 400 trillion roll. You didn't choose the traits, you didn't pick the spawn point, you didn't select the time period, and somehow you got this build. The real question is, what are you doing with it? It's easier to think of our life in a low-value setting. How often do you see someone that's doing better than you financially, physically, psychologically, or emotionally? We know that comparison is the thief of joy, yet our lives are designed to be compared. Social media thrives off comparison and the behaviors it encourages in others. This video isn't meant to trash social media, but it's about understanding how difficult it is to place the correct values on ourselves in the current world. This channel is dedicated to using lessons from various games, worlds, and books I've experienced. And this one comes from a quote from one of my favorite book series. In The Way of Kings, a dilemma is placed in front of an individual where they are asked to choose between a priceless item and the lives of others. In the end, the people who were being bargained are shocked that they were chosen over the said priceless item. The individual who made the decision follows it up with a question: what is a life worth? The answer is given that a life is priceless. The individual then follows it up with one of the best lines in fantasy that I've ever read. You saved 2,600 lives today, and all I had to give was one priceless item. I'd call that a bargain. Now there's so much more in play in these scenes, but the lesson is simple. A life, if priceless, a life is priceless. Yet we often find ourselves valuing everything but ourselves. How different would life be if we valued ourselves equally with our prized possessions? Do we take care of ourselves as well as we would like? Do we push ourselves to do what is best with the priceless gift that we have of existing? I'm here to discuss the ways in which we can better value ourselves and live a life we're proud of. And in the end, do everything we can to help others do the same. Now I want you to answer this question. How would your life be different if you treated it like the priceless experience that it is? We know how much money most of us are willing to spend on an incredible gaming experience. In this day and age, you can expect a video game to be about $60, and sadly, it's likely to increase. These games give us hours upon hours of exploration, escape, and genuine lessons along the way. However, how would you react if you lost your save file to your most beloved game or character? You'd be devastated, because I know I would be. Within that game is hours of grinding, work, and sometimes a bit of RNG to help out, depending on the game that you play. Losing that progress would hurt. Now what I want you to consider is how you're treating your current save file in life. Are you maxing out your stats that matter? Are you taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally? Are you taking care of those who take care of you? There is so much to life in this priceless experience that we often fall into the trap of lowering our own opinion of ourselves. We might not be the biggest, strongest, or bravest characters that we perform as in these games, but we bring something amazing to the table, and it'll be different for each one of us. And the question still remains, how would your life be different if you treated it like it was your favorite save file? Would you be going back and prestiging your favorite skills? Would you be getting all of the sleep that you need to feel your best? While life is complex, it's also incredibly simple. Taking care of yourself and taking care of others is a great way to find the joy that we're meant to be experiencing. Now this leads me to my next point. Life, like games, is meant to be enjoyed. How many of you are lost in the grind of working hard? How many of you, myself included, fall into the trap of happiness being the next thing? Once I graduate, once I get a new job, once I get a great partner, or once I make tons of money. then I'll be happy. The worst part is the answer to this is simply no. The skill in life, and the skill tree we all need to be investing in, is enjoyment. The lesson pairs perfectly with video games. You're meant to enjoy them, not just grind them out. Sure, in Skyrim, there is a point where I usually find myself smithing thousands of iron daggers to max out my smithing skill. But does that bring happiness? I would say yes and no. A maxed smithing skill gives me access to Daedric and dragon smithing, but it doesn't affect whether or not I actually like the look of the armor. The character you're seeing me play has armor that I found along the way. I played most of this playthrough with scaled orcish armor, because this is an RPG, and an Argonian named Slifer would likely look the coolest in scaled orcish paired with his complexion. So the grind and hard work brought joy in some ways, but overall I was just as happy running around in orcish gear that could have been made at level 50 instead of level 100. So what are you currently working on that represents that level 100? And what represents the level 50 orcish scaled armor? What are we told to value compared to what we actually value? This is how you find that joy in life. This comes from taking a step back and deciding what is most important to us. In the book example from the beginning, some people value swords above humans. Some value life. The hardest pill to swallow is they're both correct in their own way, and we need to understand how we differ from others in what brings us joy. So take a minute after this video and write down what actually makes you happy. For me, it's traveling with my wife, getting coffee with friends, and playing video games with those that I don't really live close to anymore. I know my coworkers would all have different answers, and I want you to have a different answer as well. Now my final point is to stop comparing your game to someone else's. In Skyrim, you have 10 races that you can pick from to start the game. Each one has its own perks. My first playthrough ever, I went with the Wood Elf, for the same reason I'm sure many as you did. Stealth archery is one of the best ways to play this game, and you get an immediate boost to that skill. However, any recent character that I've played has always been Argonian. This is because, having attempted a few deathless runs, I found the value in being able to always breathe underwater without needing a specific potion to do it. Now this is a minor perk, but it always stuck with me. One of my closest friends is always going to pick Orc. They're a two-handed tank build, and they prefer that. One of the best lessons that Skyrim teaches us is that none of these choices are better than the other. We all learn Fus Ro Dah, we are all taught by the Greybeards, and we are all meant to play Skyrim in our own way. Now just put this towards life. We aren't all meant to be absurdly rich, or to travel the world, or to have the most friends, but we are all meant to live. This is the priceless gift that we have in living. Comparing it with others will only diminish the best parts of both. Commit to how you choose to live your character, the stats that you invest in, and work to find the ways to better live your own life. Now, I may have said it too much, but life is priceless, and treating it otherwise is just a waste of your own time. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Enjoy what it is to live and find the small ways that really make life incredible for you. Don't compare your gameplay to anyone else. It's very easy to do this, but it's going to be so much better if you don't. Now, if you got something from this, please consider liking and subscribing and leaving a comment with your favorite way that you choose to live. And as always, I hope you can be well.